Well people, I'm not sure if this is a wise decision. I am at Berry Hill Fisheries and I'm going out, wait for this, in a boat. I used to do a lot of boats here. In fact I used to have a boathouse. And they've now got a couple of boats you can use, but you can only fish in the jungle, which is way down there. Last night I was fishing just down past that light willow, to the right of that, or to the left of that, can't remember, round about that area. And a couple of hours sleep and I'm going in the boat and see if I can do anything while I'm here. A really big boat, punt shaped, no oars, you've got to paddle it, so that's going to be interesting. Right, let's get down there. It's basically an expedition to see if I can catch anything at all. I will settle for bream and no rain. Well, I'm here anchored up, moored up. It's no anchor, it's just a concrete block that sits into the mud. And I'm in the jungle, what they call the jungle, which is all around here. Basically, overgrown area that you can only fish with a boat, as you can see there. But the wind's picked right up. And what it's doing is, where I've got weights down here, I've got a little bit of give in it, because if I tie it too short, when I stand up, it might lift it up and I drag. So I'm leaving it sunken in the mud. But the problem is, I'm doing this seesaw motion and it's dragging my floats out of position. Now I have seen a couple of bubbles there. I'm fishing with a couple of waggler floats, match rods, 6 pound line through. The one on the right's got a weird sort of rig on it. It's for a method feeder, a hook link. So the actual silicone rubber, little latex thing to hold the pellet is on a short link, which I've not tried before. This one on the left, I've made my own hook link up, it's a bit longer. Oh, I'm not going through the bottom of this boat, am I? I've made them a bit longer, sort of about, I suppose about 14 hook. I thought that was a bite. See, the other problem I got, as the boat's swinging, it's pulling the floats out of position all the time. It's really quite annoying. So whether I'm going to stay here or whether I'm going to go right up tight there and fish in here, because that's where I've actually chucked a couple of balls of ground bait as well. I'm waiting over there to see if I can see any bubbles, if I can see some bubbles come up. I can't see bubbles here, look, because it's so ripply now. It's annoying. It was flat calm this morning, but that's what happens when you go out in boats. Wind and boats are a problem. So I'm hoping I don't drag. If I'm not fishing properly and I'm not catching, after a couple of hours I will be changing and going on to another lake they've got here, and I'll try a method feeder and see if I can salvage something. It's about 3 foot, 3'6" deep. The other pellets I'm using are very small. They're these, where are they? Where are they? Don't tell me I've eaten them. These ones, these are the Pacific Tuna pellets 6mm. I've not used these before. Let me show you the difference between the two. Okay, these are the 6mm. Well, it's patently obvious, and these are 8mm. Quite a distinctive size. One's light, one's dark. You can see that there. These I did really well. I've only used them once. I only ever used them once. These I haven't used at all. So I've got a single one of these on there, which should pick up skimmer bream, I'm guessing, and the larger one here, which should pick up either tench or larger bream. That's the theory. It is a whole big experiment. And of course, now I've thrown my ground bait in, I may well have dragged. So we normally would put a marker float down there, like where the duck is. That's not Frank, by the way. That's a naughty one. He'll dive and eat everything. Frank was totally trained. He was actually a circus duck. Anybody who's watched our carp film with Frank starring in it, Frank, they realise he's a totally trained, totally awesome circus duck. I mean, it could be Frank that's followed me. It could be. Oh, that's better. Oh, what's that thing up there? Somebody Google it up. Oh, it's the sun. So I'm going to give it a go here. Check my watch. 2 hours, I think. I might have an hour or so in there just to see what's there, but I need to see some bubbles coming up. Well, it's noisy echoing across the lake there, guy with a strimmer. Which is, for the bank anglers, must be really annoying. It's bad enough coming across the water here. It's stilled off for a second. The floats are just there. And you'll doubtless tell by the reclining position with feet over the side of the boat that I'm tired and uncomfortable, but I'm seeing no bubbles yet. You can just see maybe how the boat's doing this all the time. See, it looks like it's a bite and it's not, because I can just bump the float like this. and they both come back up. It's really annoying. When you do cast out in a boat, because you can't really odds this unless you do what we used to do years ago, and that was to actually go in and you put 2 stakes down and tie the punt to the stakes, then it's absolutely locked in. Sometimes you could get the oars if you had oars and push those down. If not, you had stakes, a bit like over there. But I don't think they're for mooring on. I think that's to do with the pipe going in and out here, I'm not sure. But it is, as you can see, very nice setting here when the wind goes down and when the strimmer stops. But at the moment I'm seeing over there where I baited up as well, I'm not seeing any bubbles. I keep glancing over there in between when the wind drops. I'm not seeing any bubbles. I'd like to see some bubbles. Well, we'll give it a go. I just feel if I shorten the anchor rope up a few notches on the chain, when I move in the boat, it'll lift the weight up and I'll start sliding right over the area I've baited. So I've sort of got to tough it out for a little bit here. And no rain, so partial result. Just want to catch something, you know, just a couple of bream or something like that. Just nice being out in the boat. Crikey, I haven't been in my sea boat for God knows how long. Just sometimes it's just nice to get in a boat. Yeah, it's most important, I feel, if you are wanting to float fish from a boat, and you can ledger as well, but you've got to stop. If you're quiver tipping, you've got to stop this swinging business. You've got to be almost staked down. But if you're float fishing and you want to see exactly where you're baiting up, because it all looks different when you move, get yourself a marker float. This is one sort of carp one we used to use. Anything, pike, bungs. But the problem was, as soon as you put anything up, marking a swim, some of the places, the club waters I fished with my dad, they used to just get, I won't say poached, but you know, it should be an unwritten rule that if you go out and you clear some lilies and you take the trouble to pull the weed out and you're doing journeys and journeys and journeys, clearing it out, baiting it up and raking the bottom, that you should sort of have first go at the swim. But I've been turned over a few times by, one was a club secretary who moved in at £100, watched me clear the swim and bait it all up. So we've been tucked up a few times, so putting a marker out is a sort of a risk. But somewhere like here, if you're just for the day, is cast this out wherever you fancy. It settles. You have a piece of, obviously you plumb the depth, let's say it's 4 or 5 feet. Doesn't matter if it's over depth a bit. Make sure this has got a weight to it so it does set the right way. But it sort of doesn't matter even if it's on its side. The weight sinks to the bottom. It registers where you are. You can bait to the right or the left of it, say 3 or 4 feet this way, 3 or 4 feet that way, and that way you know when the boat's swinging exactly where you're baiting up at the same time. Because, you know, I could be moving around here and I'm going to just judge it, 10 feet swing where the float looks like it's in the same spot and it's not. So if you do a bit of boat fishing, and it is good fun when it goes right, get yourself a marker float. I think it's worth marking the swim, definitely. Well, when it stills off, I have seen the odd bubble there, but very, very sparse and not getting any knocks or bangs or anything. I might have missed a couple of bites, I'm not sure. I think it's nearly time for a brew on the boat. Now, you might see 3 floats there. The middle one is broken off in a snag. I've got snagged twice, and now I've pulled and I've got a break in it. Well, I'm not going to move the boat just to pick that float up. I can go and get the float when I pack up, but that's an ideal spot there, giving me a sort of marker. I can fish to the left of it, to the right of it, and as you can see this boat swinging, if I just hold it dead still, see it swinging and moving like this, that drags the floats out of position. So I can now see I've got 2 feet to the left of the centre one, 2 feet to the right, and the snag is in the middle. Who knows what it is? I've hit it twice, so I'm guessing it's a branch that's come off or something like that. So I'm either side of it. Unfortunately, that's where I put my bait. Hard to know, isn't it, where the snags are here. There we go, a fish at long last. I was actually filming the distance between the floats. Now you can see why. I've got this short net. Oh no, it's a nice bream, that's okay for float. In it goes. I haven't got a great big long pole, have I? Look there, if you'll pardon the French. There we go, a nice bream in the background of the jungle setting. Beautiful. And there's the pellet that slid up the line. Well, pleased with that, although I'm going to be totally covered in slime. Yuck, look at that, yucky, yuck. Oh, well, the result, and that was to the left of the marker float. Take my tip, if you do have a bream, just rinse your net inside out, because that might be the only one you get, and you really don't need to leave that bream slime in there cooking in the sun, and discover it next time when you put it in the car. Wow, and that was on these. Let's see if we can get another one. Okay, I've lost a second set of gear to the right of what I call my marker float. Didn't lose the float, but broke off the hook link, so there is a decent sized snag in there. So I'm now fishing both floats to the left of that, so that's again where that marker's handy. I'm using the broken float as a marker. I've got 1, 2, 3. Before I had them either side of the marker like that, now I've put them this side of the marker, so hopefully that side's clear, and it was the left hand side that I just called that bream on. So fingers crossed here for you. I put some more bait in, and I think I do think I've had a few bites, 2, 3 before that. Either struck and missed them or didn't really see them in a ripple, and that was on these bigger pellets. On those, nothing on the small ones, 6 mils, which I'm kind of surprised. But there you go. Just illustrates you can't tell what the fish want to feed on. So I'm going to give it a little bit longer. Well, I'm not getting any more bites. If I am, I'm not really seeing them properly because it's so ripply now. And they're not sort of sail away bites. What a mess. So I'm going to give it a 5-minute warning, 10-minute warning, something like that. And I think, as you can see by here, you can see all the ripple there. It's tough seeing the floats, tough seeing the few bites. I'd like to try and catch you guys another couple of fish. Just the way it is. Right boat, right time of year, perhaps a little bit earlier would have been better, and less wind. But I'm going to try the other lake and see if we can't wiggle a couple of fish out there before I pack up. Okay, I've set up at the other lake, people all around us. I'm going to be fishing with my match rods. Wait for this, I haven't got my quiver tip rods with me. And a couple of inline feeders, method feeders. This should be right down there actually. Like that, with a little banded pellet, and I'm going to put 2 or 1 on each of those. Where are they? Don't want to lose them now. I've got them. See out my time here. Those of you who've seen our films doubtless are aware that you put these on with a pellet bander. This is a very good method for beginners. So just open up the latex band using one of these little gizmos, like that. You just pop your pellet inside, like that. Take it off. Always put it where you know it's going to be. Now these come with a mould. I'm not going to bother moulding them. I'm just doing this. Look, I'm just going to squeeze it around like that, and then just push the pellet loosely in the top. So there's the pellet, there's the hook, there's the link, there's the metal of the feeder, and they should pick it up, and the rod should buckle round. I'm only fishing very, very close there, and the other one just out from that. I'm going to call that a monk. That's a monk for draining the lakes, I think. So I'm on a match rod, I'm not on a quiver tip rod. If anything gets hold of it, it should just fold round. Put it up a bit so I can see it. Seeing that white patch of skyline, I might struggle with the left-hand rod. The left-hand rod's just going straight out there. So it's a slightly different shaped feeder. Same principle. They just nip the swivel into there. You can use the mould if you want, or you can just do what I'm doing. Just mould it on. I'm going to give this a couple of hours, that's all. Normally you sort of see people landing fish all the time there. But I don't know, I haven't fished it for a year, I suppose. So that's the trap set. We hope. Give me a chance to have something to eat as well. And you should get line bags, lots of different things going on. I'll back the drag off on that one a bit. And you can see I've got them very high, so I can see them. I wouldn't see them so well against the green of the island. This way I can see them against the skyline. I've chucked in some balls of ground bait just down there and out there, and followed up with loose pellets as well. Well, I'm afraid, well, one minor tremor of a bite. I've seen one fish caught down the end, just down there. One fish moved off the island. Nobody cast up there, but I really can't be bothered. I think they're going to come in closer. When I say they, I'm talking about it. I'm now down to no food. A piece of cake's gone. I'm down to a brew. My last, look at that, it's a sad sight. The last tea bag. So I'm just basically waiting for one of these to crash over. I'm kind of surprised I haven't got small fish banging away on the rod top there, eating the ground bait off the feeder. I'm looking just for one fish to salvage it. I've got a fish on his right over by the island, guys. Probably going to do me in the snags. Small hook. Just shut my eyes to doze off. I'm going to try and walk him out. This is what I've done before to maintain the pressure. I think I got him turned. I've got this big concrete bit. I've just got him over the top of that. So I've been fighting him for a minute. I just shut my eyes. Next thing I know, the rod was buckled over. I've dropped the other one, fallen over the bob vest. I'd like to try and get one fish for you, just one. I haven't even had a tremor. Outside chance, just an outside chance I can get him on this small hook. It's very, very windy. And the thing is with these big method feeders, there's something for the fish to pull against to shock it against and bust a hook link. There he goes. Wow, this wind is something else. Got a lot of pressure on him. I don't think he's a 3 pounder somehow. In fact, I think we're going to need a bigger net. No, I don't want him going around the other one. Sensible Graeme, bring the other one in. I don't like the extra pressure. Come on, just one fish. I can't go home with just a bream, surely. Let's take a look at him. Don't feel a bad fish, to be honest. But I'm on a match rod. Wowie, that rod is just fit to bust. Drag's okay. I can't put any more on him. I haven't even seen the fish yet. Now, I think I'm going to click this off so I don't run out of memory card. Bear with me. Very dark fish, this one. Almost black. I've seen it once, I think it's common. There he comes. Certainly a scrapper, but he's as black as you could want. I had him on the top, but that might be my chance there. He's just in, yeah. It's a common carp. That is as black as you could want. Wow. That was worth moving, people. That was worth coming in from the boat. Just hooked on the edge. Hopefully he's not going to go mad. He's knackered itself. I guess he's going to go 6s to 7s. That's about as black as a fish that I've caught. Weird, but gratefully accepted. And a success after a very long wait. Yeah, I think he'll probably go 7s. Let's let him recover. Gone. Like a chub, looks a bit like a chub. Wow. I can't sit down, I was exhausted. Well, that was a fish and a half and a fight and a half, I can tell you. I was just giving it the 1 hour warning, so I figure another cast or two. I'm on again, guys. Same rod, straight out. I'm kind of surprised the inside one didn't go, but it hasn't. I don't think it's such a big fish, but you can never tell. It certainly hasn't steamed off with a line. Or is it the world record roach? There's like a tench sort of swirl there. I suppose they got tension here, it'd be a big tench. Now, what is this? What is this? Got to be a carp, because that's what's in here, but you never know. It might be the odd big tench, just to spice it up. is he? Let's see him, let's see him. Another dark one. There's a good common this time. Well, I'm going to bing it off till I get him in the net, people. I'm very, very low on battery. There he is, another common on the method feeder. Might even be able to get him unhooked in the mat and released. Just on the outside there. So there he goes. Wow, that's turned it all around. That move was worth doing. God. He's coughing up those pellets, look at that. Oh, guys, I've got another one. I didn't film this one. I've got him in. One of those dark commons there. So that's 3. That's well worth moving from that boat because the wind has not stopped. I think we're getting to the last cast. Look at the muck all over that lens, spitting grab mate everywhere. Well, hopefully you got the message that I could have packed up, couldn't I, and gone home because I haven't got my quiver tip rods, which you would use for leathering with a method feeder. No, it doesn't work like that because it's a method feeder that's catching the fish, not the rods and reels, really. So I've got match rods, which when you look at it, the tips of those aren't a million miles away from a quiver tip. And they're through action, so they're going to pull down quite a bit, you know, to help hold that tight up to the method feeder. You can see you've got to be versatile. You don't necessarily need 10 different rods and reels. I've been out float fishing in a boat, caught a bream, but trust me, I've caught plenty of fish on those before, so it's just a fact it's too windy for me to get the float balance right. I come on this late by change, good job I did change. And there you can see, by setting up like this with the rods on a low slope, and I've now moved this inside one to the outside one just to finish off. This would be my last cast. You can see I've had 3 carp that I wouldn't otherwise have had if I hadn't had that decision to use those rods just for method feeders. Been a good trip now, even if I have run out of tea bags. Well guys, thanks for watching the Totally Awesome Fishing Show. I'm going to call it quits. I've missed another one. Just got to get back now. Hope you enjoyed that one. Look at the net. That's the one I had in the boat. Just a rod rest. Keep it simple, keep it basic. Fishing really is pretty basic at the end of the day, you know. It's not all about fancy rigs, it's finding the right rig. We'll see you in the next episode. Who knows what it's going to be. Hit the subscribe button, TA Fishing, TA Outdoors. I wonder if it's going to crash off here. One last bite before I load up the trolley. If not, I've had a good time. See you next time. Well listen, not every day can be an epic fishing day, can it? You just got to go fishing, fingers crossed, you catch something. Now, one of the things I do get asked for is, well, you know me people, I'm not really into big tackle stuff, am I? You know, I'm not used the same rods. I don't even need to mention, you guys know what the rods and reels I use, especially freshwater fishing. In fact, I use the same ones beach fishing for 40, 50 years. The same goes for fishing line. But recently, somebody sent me a spool of fishing line. It might be different. Now then, you know I'm not a tackle salesman. Let's take a look at it and I'll tell you my line that I use. So, please don't think I'm selling this stuff. In fact, we used to have a PO box number, but we got sent such junk. We had to close it down because people were just sending us stuff to get publicity on. We don't work like that, you know. If I'm using a rod, a reel, whatever, line, hook, lure, you know, I generally will tell you about it. Unless it's a secret catfish bait, and I keep that quiet. So anyway, I was sending this stuff. It's called Gamma Polyflex Copolymer Fishing Line. So, before we go anywhere, I have used Maxima Chameleon fishing line, just buy a spool, about every 2 years, literally about every 2 years. I use £6 test, people do ask me. I've probably used that for 50 years. I used it, you know, in my late teens, early 20s. Maxima Chameleon, been around a long time. No, I'm not selling it, I'm just telling you what I pop in the shop every once in a while and buy. Now, this stuff I use for my general fishing, barbel, chub, Joe average carp, perch, tench, bream, all that sort of general fishing, freshwater fishing. £6. It comes on a 200, or this one comes on a 250 yard spool, yards, not metres, that's 230 metres. And you'll notice I said £6 test because at my age I haven't got a clue what 2.7 kilo means. But I know, like you, youngsters out there under 60 like to know 0.22 mil or 0.009 inch. I've no idea what it means. Now this stuff is fairly new. It comes in a moss green. Now you see the measurements I gave you on this. This one is 3.9 kilos, 8 pounds I think that is. Just like 8 point something pounds, 300 metres, a little bit more on this, or neither here nor there. So I've got, what have I got, 20 mil there. Do you know what, I've got to put 2 pairs of glasses on. Why would you print it this small? 0.008 inches, so it's a little bit finer, smoother, whatever. But it's had something done with its molecular structure, and it came from something to do with tennis rackets and stuff like that. Well, we all know how hard they hit a tennis racket, so it must wear, you know, really well. It could be something worth trying. I'm not saying it is, I'm just saying this one is called competition grade. Refining the standards of strength. It's the word I like. Guaranteed. Anyway, it's a copolymer fishing line. I have to say it's pretty fine. I've put some on one reel. I've already caught some fish on it. Has it caught me any more fish? No, of course it's not caught me any more fish. Of course it hasn't. But I have to say it's quite a nice line to use. It's limp, it's supple, it's quite fine. I don't really like that. I've still got 2 pairs of glasses on. I don't think it looks huge. God, how big's that rook? It's just like Batman. So this stuff's called competition grade. I don't know what else they do. This is just this one spool of 8 I'm trying. I have no problem using it purely because of that diameter. But what I did notice, just trying it, I don't think there's that much stretch in it. Whether you want stretch or not, it's entirely up to you. I don't know. Is anybody out there a copolymer line expert? Does it not stretch? Oh, I cut my fingers. Now, here's some of the old stuff I peeled off to put a spool of that stuff on just to try it. Please, nobody else, don't send me any more fishing line because I do use Maxima Chameleon. That's all I really use. This, I can feel my old Maxima. Look, it's definitely stretching. Well, you tell by this in the middle, stretching more than that copolymer. At 6. I can't. Look, we can all snap it like that, sharp, but just under, do they call it tensile strength? It goes, obviously. So, that's all I'm telling you people. There's that line. You might want to see it in tackle shops. It's called Gamma Polyflex. They must do other sizes, moss green. It might be worth a shot, in my opinion. I'm still going to be using Maxima Chameleon in 6. I've used it for 40, 50 years or more. I'm happy with it. I'm not one of those guys, change lines, change lines, change lines. But there's one that might have better technology. It might be something different. And you people match fishing, I'll tell you where I think it could be good. I don't know what sizes they do it in. If they did a heavier size, maybe for carp, slightly finer diameter, no stretch, as I say, I can't find much stretch compared with the old Maxima here. Would you get more on a, say, a big pit reel and cast farther, or is it further? Would you cast a longer distance with it being finer diameter and being less stretch? When you pick up and you get a run, let's say big carp or something, any carp, will you be tight on the fish quicker? All these things churn around in my mind at night, and Yes, keep me awake.